We have a half-an-hour slot to think about how we might utilize video within our learning and development scenarios. So we're going to spend a few minutes exploring at that, looking at that together. And by way of context, so I'm from an organization called iManage Performance Limited. We've been around about 20 years in the L&D space. We deliver management, leadership, organizational behavioral, soft skills training, and that's where we started, traditional face-to-face training. And now it's fair to say that we offer a complete, joined-up, blended solution working through lots of different media, technologies, as well as traditional interfaces. So do come and see us at the end if you want to continue the conversation on F106 down that corridor. You can come and find us and have a chat with us. So we are an organization that at our heart have this idea. We want to change people for good. That's why we're in business. Bit of a play on words, but that links into what we're going to be talking about. Ultimately in L&D, it's got to be doing something that changes people for good. And that can be change them for the better, obviously, but change them long term as well, and start to get change that happens incrementally over time. So that's where we're at. We do that primarily by challenging people to think and act. And I'll talk maybe a little bit more about that in a moment or two, but the challenge piece in that sentence we think is really critical in adult learning. How we actually bring about a challenge that creates an environment where the individuals are willing to think and then act in the light of the information that they have. So I want to have a bit of fun. I want to make this a bit interactive as we work through the session together. So I'm going to encourage you to text me and tweet me in a few minutes' time as we work through this. I would like to get this going, though, by perhaps demonstrating something, and I need your help for this. I'm going to do some press-ups, okay? And what I need you to do right now is to count them for me, okay, collectively. It's kind of, 1, 2, etc., okay, as I do them. Is that all right? Because I can't talk and do press-ups, okay? So see if, let me hear it good and loud, okay, and a good cheer when we get to 5. Can we? Is that possible? Here we go then. Oh, these shoes aren't made for press-ups. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, way. Okay, there is some sanity behind the madness. If that was it, if that was my annual dose of exercise, 5 press-ups, and I do nothing else, I could justifiably look in the mirror, take my shirt off, puff my arms up and go, that doesn't work, does it? And so much of what we do in L&D can be a bit like that. We think, if we do 5 press-ups, we do this quick bit of input, we get this quick bit of content, and we push it out to our audience, that will be fantastic. But of course, nothing happens. And so we've got to think about L&D, I believe, in a different way. We've got to think about how we actually do 5 press-ups today, 5 tomorrow, and then maybe I can do 6 or 7 come, I've lost my bearings, Saturday or Sunday, and maybe in a week I can do 10 or 20 even, and at some point I'll be able to do 50, yeah? Because it's constant. I'm constantly working away at it. And that's where I want us to think, how I want us to think when we start to introduce the idea of bringing video into our learning and development scenarios. It's a little often. Constantly reminding, stimulating people's thinking and their thoughts and their ideas. And I want to start really with a bit of a story. This is my son, Isaac. This is a 1987 CB125. It's cute, isn't it? And Isaac and I bought this maybe 2 years ago to pull apart and turn into a cafe racer. So if any of you know what that is, 125 is not going to go fast, but it's a style thing. Yeah, it's a little bit of a custom old motorcycle. And we started pulling it apart, and we started to work out what we needed to do. And I needed some welding done. Okay, so we'd cut the frame about, and we needed to weld something in the frame. And it's only a small piece of welding, and finding somebody to do it was a bit of a pain, and the weeks and the months rolled by and I didn't do anything. So, okay, I did an engineering apprenticeship. You go back 30 years, I used to weld all the time. So I thought, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go and spend my 200 quid, is all it takes these days, to get a nice little Sealy MIG welding unit. Okay, so this arrived about 3 or 4 weeks ago at home. I think my neighbours have all got Archi now. But anyway, I'm in the garage, the sparks are flying, and my first attempts are useless. Okay, absolutely rubbish. It's been 30 years or more since I welded, and even then it wasn't MIG welding, it was other forms of welding that I did, so I'd never really had a go at this. And what do? I haven't got time for night classes. Too busy. I haven't got the energy to kind of spend hours and hours and hours over this to get this right. Where'd you go? Any guesses? YouTube. I went to YouTube. I'm still in YouTube watching all the videos on MIG welding, kind of learning all that stuff. And, you know, that is the essence, really, of where we're heading. Help me out here. So the plan is that you either tweet using @iManage, and if you like CIPD ACE 17, if you're into tweeting, you know what that is. Or you can text me right now, okay? This is my number in my pocket. You can text me right now. I would like to know how many of you have watched a video online this week. Okay, so this week, how many of you have watched video? If you haven't, can you say no, so we get a bit of a sample here? So grab your phones, text me 07966 314 071, or tweet with @iManage in the Twitter feed. I'm going to give you 2 minutes just to arm yourselves with a yes or no answer while I look and see what answers, what ideas come in. So we've got one yes straight off. Hey, that's a positive. Thank you, David. We've got a message, 2 messages yes, 3 messages yes. Yes, I watch YouTube almost every day. Oh, somebody just said 4. I don't know what it said 4. That looks slightly odd. Yeah. Oh, I want me out the way, the screen. Sorry. Yeah. I get what's going on. Oh, we've got a no. We have a no. One single no in that lot. Yes, every day. And so they keep coming. Oh, the Twitter feed's gone very busy with yes, lost count. Okay, we can keep going. But the point is what? It's invasive. We're all using video extensively in our lives. We'll talk about why we're doing that in a moment or two and what's good about that. But let's do another quick quiz, okay? So back on the phones, please. How many of you have used online video to learn something? And I've stretched it out a bit this month. Can you say what it was as well? You know, whether you learnt to MIG weld or whatever it was that you've done. So, but you know, kind of have a quick tweet or text. What you? The messages are still flowing in here. I do have another no come in here. How many have you used online video learning for something this month? Let's see what happens. Tell us what it is as well. Yoga, cooking. Okay, yeah. What else have we got? Clean washing machine drum. Visual impact theories to bake banana bread. Yes, I like this one. Painting to improve a tactic on football management. HTML. How to do stuff on social media. Yes, correct. Connect extra control for Xbox. Yeah. And they're coming in, yeah? It is something that we're doing the whole time. Using video has become almost like our magic mirror. And what I mean by that is that we ask it a question, mirror, mirror on the wall, how beautiful am I? Now, who's the most beautiful of them all, isn't it? Or something like that, yeah? And it tells us, not you. Maybe some of you, but not me. We go to YouTube, we go to the web to answer almost any question. People are spending now, the balance is tipping, are spending more time on YouTube than they are on TV. And that's a kind of a bit of a change. And we're doing it because we don't have time, we want quick access, we want insight, we turn to video because it is a route into all manner of things, all manner of insights. And it's not just a millennial thing, can I suggest, because I'm not a millennial. 52. I'm a baby boomer, maybe officially the last baby boomer year. But we're all doing it. We're all so familiar with it. There's an organization called Kajabi who specialize in video-led learning, a lot like Udemy. If you come across Udemy, Kajabi is a platform for hosting video-led learning. They're saying that this industry, which they're now calling knowledge commerce, it has a new name. This is very new. Like in the last month or so, people have started to call it knowledge commerce. They reckon that that industry is going to be worth $240 billion by 2020. It's already pretty massive and growing all the time as people share knowledge and learning online and use video primarily as the vehicle for that. So I'm going to talk about two things. What's the time? I'll keep an eye on the clock. I want to talk about the changing work and worker environment really quickly. Just some stats, you know, some survey stuff that just gives us a bit of an insight into the worker and the worker environment and expectations. But then I want to talk a bit about the change video can make. And particularly what I want to do there is sort of entice you into something of the value of a piece of video compared to other intervention style. Then I'm going to talk about three ideas I think you could easily implement to actually introduce video simply and easily into your organizations, into your learning development programs. So here's the changing worker environment for a start. These are 2017 stats. So from a Fosway survey, this isn't surprising. 68% of people working with virtual technologies. 55% are using social media tools for direct collaboration in the workplace. So it's, you know, so it's a pretty major part of the working world is switching to sort of social-led chat. And 44% of employees, this is interesting, are primarily using mobile devices. That means their major tool, nearly half the workforce, their major tool maybe isn't a phone, but is a tablet, mobile device as opposed to a laptop, let alone a desktop. So they're big numbers. They say something about the way that we're working right now. What about this and the changing worker expectations? Same survey, 2017, brand new results. 69% see professional development as a key priority. We're glad about that with being L&D people, aren't we? 70%, pretty well, are saying that this is a priority. My development, my learning is a priority. We've got 63% saying they want to do that using the latest technologies. We've got 67% who believe that they need to learn faster in the way they're taking on board information and content. And again, I mean, a whole interesting sphere that we're looking into, but the whole flexible working, agile working, remote working thing, 62% of people want flexible working. And if you believe the stuff about millennials, they're talking about them really wanting kind of, you know, much more of a variety and flexibility in their working week and their place of work and all of those things. And we've got a millennial on the camera. He agrees with that. I checked with him. So what's the implications of all that on you and I as L&D professionals or people in HR? Well, I think that there's definitely some kind of historical journey going on, isn't there? This is on the handout. Those of you, if you haven't got a handout, there's a few spares at the front to grab at the end if you'd like one of these handouts, or we can send you one, of course. Physical, traditional learning solutions, where it always used to be, alone. Of course, we've moved a long way from just that physical, traditional, workshop-y style environment for learning. Very much focus on the single intervention or the program. It's traditionally how it's been. And honestly, I still have people doing one press-up who'll come to us and say, Bob, we want to run a day on being the best leader in the world. And that sense of which, you know, okay, what about the ongoing here? What about even the program? I mean, it's better end, it's program stuff. It's worse end, maybe it's really isolated touch points. We've moved into virtual, pretty obviously we have for a long time, e-learning. A lot about sort of massification. Yeah, so let's get this content out to the masses. I've got 10,000 people globally and I need to get this program rolled out to them. Let's go to e-learning for that. This whole kind of volume-related push of content into the workforce. But maybe we're moving much more into this sort of digital social solution in our learning development world, which is focusing much more on having content available at the point of need. So I'm recruiting next week. I've got some interviews next week. Where can I draw some great content about interviewing, just to fine-tune what I'm going to be doing next week when I sit down with my candidates? So we've kind of got this agile idea, which is much more pull than push. And I think there's exceptions with all these, but a lot of the physical stuff historically has been push. We're pushing this course down the pipeline, getting people on the course, making it available to them. Much of the e-learning mass volume stuff was push. Maybe you could argue some of it was demand-led. I need to improve my Excel skills, so I'll do a piece of e-learning on Excel, and I pull it rather than having it pushed to me. But agile is definitely pull. This is about getting users recognizing at the point of need, I want this piece of content and I drag it. I need to learn how to MIG weld, bake a banana cake, whatever. And I want that input right now, and I want it quick, and I want it concise, and I want it effective. And what's why I want to watch it. So now this is not unsurprising, but 52% of consumers watch videos before they purchase something. We find video persuasive. I watched a video before I chose to buy my Sealy Super MIG 200. I've just bought a Rickenbacker bass. Very cool. I watched video before I settled on that and bought that instrument. We all do it. We're all going to the web because it's convincing, it's persuasive when we see video. Look at some of these facts, though, the change video can make. And some of these numbers are absolutely astonishing. So this is a piece of research from some people called Zabisco, and they reckon 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. And visual content is processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than text. Now, if they're half right with their numbers, they're still pretty astonishing. We absorb so much through the eyes and through our ears that we take much longer to absorb if we are doing something that is text-based as a comparison. Average users spend 88% more time on a website where it's got video because it hooks people in, it attracts us, and it keeps us there in a different way to a flat static website. Marketeers know this so well, yeah? Look at this stat. This comes from Forrester. They reckon, and I don't know how they calculate this, but look at this. 1 minute of video is worth 1.8 million words, they're saying. Don't ask me. I don't know how they work that out. But it's something to do with the bulk of info, yeah? I mean, if I watch something, I'm getting a big picture, I'm getting the small picture, I'm getting so much more than if I just read something and try and interact with a screen with some writing on and a diagram or something. And look at this. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in video compared to 10% when reading text. I mean, if that's a fraction true, if it was 30%, it would be worth considering. But they're arguing 95% better retention when we watch something on video. That's massive. It's a massive idea. 66% of higher education institutes are using video extensively for remote and what would you call them? Present workers as well as present students as well as remote students. YouTube is still growing exponentially, 40% a year since 2016. You would not believe how many hits YouTube gets a day. 4 billion. 4 billion, that's pretty well half the world's population are watching a video every day. I know they're not, but that's kind of the number. It is absolutely enormous. And why is this? Why is it that we're finding this video so attractive and so appealing and so engaging? It's something to do, well, not with Victoria and Abdul. Anyone seen this? Good film. Went and saw it the other week. But it's to do with the story. As a society, we love a story. We get absorbed in a storyline. We like books, the long stories. We love the films, even the really long ones. But we love the short stories too. How many of us are looking forward to, inverted commas, the John Lewis Christmas advertisement that will be hitting our TV shortly, and I bet we'll all watch it and get hooked into the storyline. Well, maybe most of us anyway. And we just engage in a different way when it's a story as opposed to just I suppose, the clinical presentation of data. Now, there's a reason for that. You know, you can go to the chimp paradox for this, or many other people who are much cleverer than I are, and they'll tell you this emotional part of our brain is so sticky, is so fast in working over the data part of the brain that, you know, kind of we're caught up in stories emotionally. And so if I go back to my Honda CB125, which in this picture is in a state of disrepair in the garage, I could tell you about that. But what if I told you this cupboard belonged to my granddad when he died, which is a long time ago, so I'm over it. You know, don't be concerned by that. But when he died, my parents said, you can have anything you like. You know, well, I actually didn't say you can have anything. I said, is there something that you'd like of granddad's? And I went out into his small holding to one of the old barn buildings, and there was this old cupboard. It had his 12 bores in it with cartridges, and it wasn't locked up. Different day and age, yeah? And I said, I want this cupboard. This is my workshop to work on my garage. And you know, a story like that, you suddenly engage, don't you? Something that's got emotion, got connection. It engages us in a very different way to just data and information. So what am I going to say here in our kind of how do we go about utilizing video? I want to talk about a methodology, okay, so that you can put into any of your videos that helps you to engage people, and a couple of ways we can actually introduce video in an effective manner. This is standard sort of presentation skills stuff. Yeah, you want to set up, you want to, in a storyline, you want a challenge that leads to an action that leads to a turning point, the moment of truth, which leads to actions that ultimately take us to a resolution. You know, most presentation skills are talking about your storytelling would have something like that kind of flow. Well, think about introducing that concept into the way in which you design your little videos, whether they're short videos or long videos. So we've coined this phrase, we call it ADAD, awareness, desire, ability, duplication. And we structure our video content when we're producing video content to follow that structure, to build awareness, to set the desire. So I've got something, I want to do something different. I now know there's something I can do different. It's about getting to want to do something different. And then actually we're going to introduce this discomfort challenge that happens through the learning cycle. If I've got just a moment just to draw this and bring this to life for you. When I was 4, I thought I could drive a car. Yeah? Anyone with me? You looked at mum and dad and you thought it's easy. You wiggle the sticks, you turn the handles, you press the buttons and you can drive a car. Unconscious incompetence. You know this story? I couldn't do it. My comfort level is so high. I think I could do it, but I can't. Unconscious incompetence. I'm 17 years old and I'm sat in the car and it's suddenly conscious incompetence when I realise I've got to pull all this stuff together into milliseconds, yeah? I've got to think mirror signal manoeuvre, I've got to think about other road users, highway code, clutch, brakes, gears, steering. It's all got to happen like this and I can't do it. It's conscious incompetence. My comfort level is at an all-time low. It drops down. I pass my test some months or even years later. And I'm in a place of conscious competence because I can do it, but I have to think about it. On my test day, I think while I'm undertaking my test. You know, I have to work it through. Comfort level's still pretty low, maybe a bit higher, but still pretty low because I'm having to think like crazy to get my L plate removed. Here I am, 52 years old, and I'm in a state of unconscious incompetence when I drove here from Sussex on Monday, and I don't remember thinking about the act of driving at all. You know, it just happened. And we all know that experience when we go, did I look at that roundabout? And you know, did I go over a red light? Because we're so disengaged, it's so unconscious and so natural for us. Now this discomfort factor is part of adult learning and needs to move from the the desire place into kind of this slough of despond, if you like, into then ability, so competence, sharing of information, knowledge, skills, techniques, before getting an adoption phase. So the end of the video, we move into this idea of application. How do I get somebody to duplicate that practice in the real world and focus on that? And this isn't hard to do. We can quite easily and effectively introduce this kind of logic into our design of a little video, where it's 5 minutes, where it's 2 hours. I'm not suggesting it needs to be 2 hours, but we can follow a structure like this. Now, some things we can do. I'm going to skip that page, I think. Summary of what we've been saying. Video is mobile, it's immediate, it's on demand, it's pull, it's fast, it's retained, it's emotional, it engages people. So what can we do about it? Well, one thing that you can do is capitalize on this whole vlogging thing. If you're as old as me, then vlogging may have passed you by. It had for me until earlier this year when I was brought into the world of vlogging. So video logging, this is a phenomenal marketplace. The web is full of people who are taking little cameras like this and talking to camera like this walking along the high street, telling them about their lives, telling them about bits of information and content. And this is filming at the moment, so I'll put it down again in a second. But Casey Neistat, an example of a YouTube vlogger allegedly worth 12 million, just on the back of sharing his life and snippets and pieces of information on the YouTube. And there's a multitude of these guys and girls. You will have, now here's my challenge, I think you will have vloggers in your organizations. If you're any reasonable size, even if you are as small as we are as an organization, we've got vloggers in our team. Why don't we start using them? They love doing it. They're good at it. Why can't we start utilizing people to create a vlog feed within our organization that feeds useful information and content, learning content to our people as they kind of start to get the personality, start to buy into the video log? If you are completely unaware of vlogging, iManage Performance YouTube page, I vlogged my life for 30 days just to prove it was possible. And it's all there. You can follow me my whole life for 30 days at iManage Performance on our YouTube channel if you'd like to do that. Idea 2, time's running away. And I need to do some more press-ups in a moment. Idea 2 is that we can weave video in so easy into a blended solution. We can make it line up. It's so quick to produce. You don't need a lot of kit. You just need think through what you're trying to achieve. And sometimes that can be part of an introduction to some pre-work. Then you have the face-to-face, and then maybe you do some more video leading into a virtual classroom or whatever it might be. But it's so easy to start adopting little bits of video, sponsor input, expert input into a blended solution. We have one client who's now actually just started to take a video-only program, which is novel. We're trialing that with them, I guess, and experimenting with that. But that's just a series of little short 5-10 minute pieces of content. So the whole program is video. But why don't we so easily start adopting this into the things that we're doing already? Okay, third thing, and you'll forgive me for this, but just make it available. Make it available for your people so they can pull when they've got a recruitment interview next week, or they're having a problem with a difficult conversation or something. Creates a vehicle for them to search and take on board some of this kind of pocket-sized input into their lives that they can do so easily and so quickly. Of course, iManageAcademy.com can do that for you. I know I just mentioned that, by the way. And you could come to iManage Academy. We have a complete library, CMI-endorsed library. Sorry, CIPD. But CMI-endorsed library of management learning content that's there for you to consume, for your people to consume in an amazingly cheap way, because this isn't expensive to sort out. So, stimulating, fun content. Utilizing people you've already got, putting storylines into your video content. Start to capitalize on this, the phenomena that's already there, and start bringing this up to date in your own organization so easily and simply. Get a little camera, start vlogging, start putting content out, start making it available for your organizations. And so if you want to sign up for a tour of the Academy, you can, this is like This is like breakfast TV. You can text WIN to 0799 66314 071 or tweet WIN to at iManage, and we'll set up a virtual tour so we can show you around the academy, see what we're talking about in a little bit more detail. Now, remember the press-up lesson. 5 press-ups is no good. It's just, you look in the mirror, nothing's happened. We need this constant thing. So let's end on a high. 20 press-ups, do you reckon? 20 press-ups, and the biggest cheer to wake this place up when we're done. Ready? You going to count with me? Let's give it a go. Ready? Here we go. I'm going to do them quite quick, I think. Ready? 1. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't say 30. Thank you, folks. Do come and have a chat. 4106 at any point. Connect with us. I'm a LinkedIn pimp. I'll connect with anyone. So Bob Bannister on LinkedIn as well. See you soon. Thank you.